An engineer who is independently looking at replacing, updating, or adding like equipment may not have connected the two. This is why it requires SCM to look at existing agreements to see if there are some similarities. This process is easier when master-approved vendors lists are kept, and the company has an ERP or materials management system in place. While it makes it easier, it is the knowledge of how those work and how to extract the information to make the connections that create the biggest benefit. One of the challenges large organizations face is that groups often specialize in one aspect of the business. Other groups of some larger teams are sometimes familiar with how the system houses information, but are unfamiliar with how to retrieve it. They may not even know that someone else in the department is responsible for managing the information. A case in point is one organization that had SCM split into groups by category: common services, plant maintenance, technical services, drilling services, and construction activities. Each one of these groups managed their own suite of vendors and tracked performance. One group contracted with a vendor who was not performing, and they were considering reducing the work. They were awarding them, and in fact were backcharging the vendor for underperformance. Another group worked with the same vendor, who by their standards was performing with the terms of the agreement, and that vendor was being paid for performance. They recorded hours worked versus schedule, and whenever the vendor performed better than the schedule, they got paid some amount of money from the budget. Neither of these teams met to discuss their common vendors nor their performance. Both of the teams worked on the same ERP and materials management system, but because they had different department codes of account, the information was not cross-compared. So while each group had a vendor management process in place, the system did not cross-connect them, and the costs were not associated, so the overall vendor relationships started to fail. But that's a topic of another course. The lesson learned is that to issue an efficient and effective RFP may depend upon the size and structure of the organization you work in, and perhaps a little more legwork on your part.